Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our live town hall for the McGinnis Ferry Road Interchange project. My name is Michael Gault. I'm an eminent domain attorney with Bell, Carrington, Price, and Gregg. If you're here with us today, then you are likely concerned and probably already know something about the McGinnis Ferry Road Interchange project. But essentially, this project by the Georgia Department of Transportation is designed to create a full diamond interchange, both northbound and southbound, with the intersection of McGinnis Ferry Road and I-85. It's important for you to know that this project is in two phases. The first phase, right-of-way acquisition, started back in late 2021, going into 2022, but likely for many of you, that right-of-way acquisition is still ongoing. Phase one of this project is designed to construct the south-facing ramps of this, basically half of this diamond interchange. Phase two, which is scheduled to begin late 2020s into 2030, some 7 years from now, is designed to construct basically the other half of the on-ramp and the intersection, specifically the north-facing interchange side of the interchange. So for today's purposes, obviously, we're here to focus on phase one. For many of you, in fact, for most all of you that are impacted by this project, you've probably at least been contacted by and may be well into the process of negotiating or at least communicating with someone from the Georgia DOT or one of their representatives regarding your property. It's important for you to know that if you haven't settled the case, and if you're still negotiating, if you're having trouble, if you're unsure of where to turn, there are lawyers and law firms and folks that you can hire to represent you and your interest in cases like this. And that's what we do. That's what I do specifically at Bell, Carrington, Price, and Gregg in Georgia, along with Lindsay, Carrington. We represent landowners against the DOT in projects across the state. And so it's important for you to know that you have rights and that there are people that can help you through this process. What is that process and what are those rights? Well, as you can tell by now, if you've been contacted, most of you will probably be most concerned with what's known as just compensation, which is a landowner's right to the value of their property that is fair and accurate and compensates them adequately for the property that is taken for a project like this. Most all of you are commercial landowners or business owners. That's just generally what tends to happen when major roadways intersect with major interstates. You find a conglomeration of commercial parcels, and likely that's what many of you are as commercial landowners. And so for that reason, the impact to your property may be even greater than it would be to a residential landowner on a similar type project. If you've been contacted by someone already, then you know that the project is going forward and there's very little, if anything, that you can do to stop the take or the impact. But it is important for you to know that you can be compensated fairly and adequately for the property that the DOT may wish to take. As far as the process goes, if you're impacted and you haven't settled at this point, then probably in the near future, the DOT will look to file what's known as a condemnation action, which is basically a court filing that says that the DOT is going to go forward. They're going to essentially take your property through the theory of eminent domain. And then you as a landowner are left to negotiate the value of that just compensation, the value of the taking through the court process. And ultimately, at the end of the day, if you're not successful, then you can be led to a jury trial. Jury trials are certainly far from a sure thing for either party. And so it's often our goal to try to avoid that if at all possible. But you should know as a landowner that you have that tool at your disposal at the end of the case, should you not be able to reach a resolution. If you have someone like our firm on your side, you have the ability to, and the benefit of having people that have experience. So if you have been contacted by the DOT, you know that the people that you're dealing with have experience in eminent domain matters. They are right-of-way agents or appraisers who deal with projects like this all the time. They're well-versed in the process and they know the terminology. And it can be intimidating as a landowner if you get approached by folks who know words and phrases and know the process better than you do. And that's kind of where we could help you. We have experience in eminent domain matters. We know what the process is. We know the terminology, and We know how to help you through a case like this. I can't sit here and tell you individually in a forum like this what the potential issues may be in your individual cases. But what I can tell you is that I'm happy to talk to you anytime. We offer free consultations for you to reach out to me or our firm. We'll be glad to look at your individual property, your individual impact, and just sort of be able to give you a general overview as to what we think those impacts may be to your property, to see if maybe we think the DOT may have missed something when they made their initial offer to you. Or just to generally talk about the project in more detail in a one-on-one session. Again, the consultations for eminent domain cases at Bell Carrington are always free. They're no obligation. We will be glad to provide my email address and phone number so that you can connect with myself or someone on my team to better guide you through this process and to discuss your particular property in more detail. We are unique at Bell Carrington in that we have some proprietary software, some in-house software that will allow me to pull up your property and your impact while we're on the phone in order for me to be able to see the impact in greater detail and to discuss that with you, during that first initial consultation. Finally, let me say, and I know many of you are often concerned about hiring lawyers in general, particularly in cases like this, for fear of exorbitant attorney's fees. Eminent domain cases at Bell Carrington are a little bit different. We operate on what's known as a contingency fee basis, and that basically means that you're never obligated to pay upfront or out of pocket, and there's no retainer fee due at the beginning of the case or throughout the pendency of the case. We simply operate on a percentage of the recovery that we're able to get for you, the amount of just compensation, be that through settlement negotiations or ultimately at trial at the end of the case. But that's a percentage of the recovery. Not an upfront retainer, not an out-of-pocket retainer. And again, it's impossible for us to discuss individual fees for many property owners in a forum like this. But at that initial negotiation or at that initial consultation, we'll be glad to fill you in with more detail as to how that process works, how our fee structure works, what the percentages look like, and probably help calm some of your fears when it comes to attorney's fees in a case like this. So back up, big picture, sort of in review, the project is going forward. Many of you may have already settled, but there are likely some of you out there that have pending cases that you haven't been able to reach a settlement with the DOT yet. Condemnation is likely forthcoming. Instead of being overwhelmed and intimidated by representatives from the DOT that may be more well-versed in these types of cases than you are, feel free to reach out to us. Let's have that initial consultation. Let's see if we can help you. Let's see if anything has been missed. And I look forward to speaking with hopefully some of you. Feel free to give me a call. We do this all day, every day, and I'm happy to talk to you for as long as you'd like. So thank you for joining us. I hope we provided some information on this particular project and the eminent domain process in general. And I'd love to be able to provide more to you specifically if you'd like to give me a call. Thank you.